Welcome to the changes by the CFA program for the year 2024 and 2025. It's an absolute pleasure to be introducing these changes to you. There are broadly 6 updates provided by the Institute. Let me summarize them for you and then we will get into each of them one by one in details. So 2023, there is absolutely no change, nothing applicable for you. You do not need to worry about it. 2024, the changes are applicable for level 1 and level 2 candidates. 2025 changes are going to be applicable for level 3 candidates, right? The first change is something which we have already known about. That is, the students can take the level 1 exams 2 years before graduation, and they can register for the level 2 exams during graduation, but they can take the exam only after graduation. Details and clarification has been provided about the same. Second change, major change, is about the practical skills module. So basically what has been done is, just before level 1, you have to, before the level 1 exam results actually, you have to complete one module, either a financial modeling module or a Python module. I'll explain this. And in level 2, you have to do an analyst skill module or the Python or data analysis module. Level 3 as well, you will be required to do a module, but that will be applicable only from 2025 onwards, and we do not have the details about the module. Now, what is the module? In a very brief manner, it's a 10 to 15 hour video lectures which will be provided by the CFA Institute on their own platform. There will be some MCQs, practice questions, etc. as you move through the 10 to 15 hour video learning platform. And this is not going to be testable in the exam, but it is a mandatory course that you have to do on the institute's website itself. So this is a mandatory program. There will be no questions around it in the exam, no application in the exam, but you have to complete it to get your result. It is something similar to the CA students having a GMCS or an IT training program. It's something similar to that. So you do not have to complete all the modules. Either you could complete the financial modeling or Python at level 1 stage, and analyst module at level 2, or Python, one of them. You of course do have a choice to complete all the modules if you want. So you can do 2 modules, minimum 1 module has to be completed, right? We'll get into the details about it, but this is going to be available on the institute platform itself. The third change is going to be with respect to focused curriculum. Some changes are going to be happening. Predominantly, when I'm looking at the level 1 curriculum, there are a lot of topics from quants and FRA which students already know at the undergraduate level. So they might have already studied during college. So these are going to be shifted, and maybe some topics from economics is also there. And these are going to be shifted to something known as a pre-read material. So basically, there will be no questions asked on the exam with respect to this part, but it is going to be provided as a pre-read material. So in case you do not know those quants, FRA concepts, financial reporting analysis concepts, you can go through those, but you will not be tested in the exam. But you need to know these concepts in order to understand the remaining curriculum. It will not be testable, so that you can focus in terms of studying, learning, practicing on the core curriculum, because there's been a lot of additions in level 1 program throughout. And the institute wants to kind of lighten the load for the students over here. But the concepts are going to be needed and we'll have to cover this. But it will not be tested in the exam. There are going to be some changes in level 2 and level 3 curriculum also, but that's not that major with respect to level 2. We'll come to it a bit later. The next change is with respect to the practice pack. So what the CFA Institute has done is, you already are getting 2000 practice questions and 2 full mock papers before the exams. When you register for the institute, this is already included. The additional what they're doing is, if you make a payment of $299, you will get another 1000 extra practice questions, and along with that, you will get 6 mock papers. So, and this you do not need to immediately purchase when you're registering for the exam. You can take your time and decide about it later. So my suggestion would be that you complete all the practice material that you have by the institute already. You move towards the exam. Once these material have been exhausted, then we will look at purchasing this if needed. I will give you more details as we get into the depth of it. Oh, I think I numbered it incorrectly. So this was the 4th change. The 5th one is your level 3 specialized pathways. So basically over here, what is happening is we have, so level 3 changes are going to be applicable only year 2025 onwards. There is no change applicable for the year 2024. Now what happens is we have divided our curriculum 70% into core curriculum, which is exactly the way it is already right now. And we have decided on three different options wherein you have to choose one of the elective option, if I could call it, or one of the specialization, if I could call it. 30% of the remaining curriculum approximately is going to be these three choices. So you have the portfolio choice, which is the existing choice. So this 70% and 30% curriculum is the same 100% curriculum which you're already studying right now for the level 3 exams. The other two options which have been introduced are private wealth and private markets. Private wealth and private markets. So now the candidates will have to make a choice when they register for the level 3 exam. They have to choose one of the three options. There is no change or there is no comparison in terms of difficulty level. You cannot choose multiple options. You have to choose one of the choices. After making a choice as well, you might mail the institute before the exam. Some deadline and some details will be provided. We are yet to receive more details given that it is in 2025 if you want to switch between the choices. So at the time of registering for level 3, we'll have to bother about it. There will be more details provided about level 3. I think by next year or by this year end. So we'll have to wait. So basically your 70% syllabus is the same. For 30% syllabus, you have to make a choice, and in the exam, you'll be tested on the specialization that you choose. You cannot have all the three specializations. The portfolio approach is the same curriculum as what we have right now, and private wealth and private markets will be two other specializations that we will have available. You have to choose one of the three. What is going to happen is that if you want to attempt all the three, that's not possible. You'll have to take exam only on one of the choices. The remaining two, you might be able to study. You might get the access on the institute portal about it. Now, the last change that we have is with respect to digital batches. So basically what happens over here is because candidates have to wait for level 3 and then submitting the work experience to get the CFA charter, they have enhanced the digital batches. It's more of a nomenclature or an authentication basically for level 1 qualified and level 2 qualified candidates, so that they can show to their employer that level 1 is passed or level 2 has been qualified, and therefore they have certain level of knowledge in terms of finance, etc., and in order to give them that assurance for the employability of such candidates. This is not a major change. It is just that there will be badges available. There will be a kind of a certificate available for level 1 and level 2 passed candidates. Expanded eligibility is something that the institute had already briefed us earlier, and it was already posted in the eligibility lecture. So just a little clarification, that is that graduating month is basically the month in which you have received your graduation certificate. It is not the month in which you take your graduation exam. So 23 months before your graduation month, you can take your level 1 exams. So level 1 exams can be taken at any point of time between this. You can even register for level 1 exams before this. It doesn't matter whether you are from BBA, BCom, Bachelor's Economics, BTech, or whatever. It doesn't matter whether it's a distance learning or etc. university, as long as it is a recognized bachelor's program in your country, irrespective of whether it's a 3-year or a 4-year. But of course, if it's a 4-year program, you'll be able to take the exam in 3rd year, 4th year. If it is a 3-year bachelor's program, you'll be able to take the exam in 2nd year or 3rd year itself. But you can register for the level 2 exam over here, but the level 2 exam can be taken only after the graduating month. So that is the detail provided by the CFA exam. For how much study time is involved, please refer to the when to register for the exam lecture in the first class playlist. So the first class of CFA level 1, it's mentioned when to register for the exam. So the duration, the preparation time, etc. Everything has been mentioned over there. There is no preference in terms of Feb, May, August, November with regards to the level 1 exam. This I've already answered. You can take the level 2 exam after your graduation month. It is not the one in which you take your final exam. It is a month in which you receive the certificate for your exam. You can attempt the CFA exam 6 times basically. A total of 6 attempts are allowed, maximum 6 attempts. You cannot take a 7th attempt for the exam, and minimum gap of 6 months between 2 exams. So of course, when you're taking a Feb exam, you cannot take an exam in May consecutively. It has to be a Feb, and then the earliest you can take is August. So after May, you can take November. That's absolutely simple. There is nothing new that the institute has given over here. This update is regarding the practical skills module introduced by the CFA program. So basically the idea is the summary, I'll just give you a broad outline first. So the idea is that the institute has introduced a practical skill learning module. Basically there will be a 10 to 15 hour program. It is going to be videos, some MCQ, some practice, etc. And you have to complete it. It is mandatory. You cannot not complete this. You have to complete this. Now, when do you have to complete? You have to complete it before the exam result. So you have to complete this before result. And if you do not complete it, your result will not be provided to you. None of the questions are going to be tested in the exam. So there is no testability in terms of exam, but it is a mandatory module. Basically, the institute wants the candidates to get skills so that the employability increases. And of course, these skills are needed. Now, when you're looking at the level 1 program, we have two choices, either a financial modeling or a Python program tutorial that is available. You have to complete this 10 to 15 hour program. You can choose either this or this. You do not have to attend both. If you want, you can attend both of them. There is no problem with respect to that. But you have to complete minimum one module. Of course, there is not going to be any advantage if you complete two modules apart from you getting skilled. In the level 2 curriculum, you have to attend again one of the three modules. So either you can look at analyst skills. I believe you'll have to do the financial modeling to do this one. Or you can look at, I think, Python fundamentals. By mistake, they have put it over here. It is going to be Python, data science, and AI. So if you've done this fundamental, then you will be able to do this Python, data science, and AI. You can again attend both of them, but you have to definitely complete one of them before the exam. So is it a required element? Yes, it is mandatory. The purpose is to skill you so that your employability and your output at your workplace increases. How do you complete this? So basically, before the result, you can attend this, you can complete this even after the exam is completed. So just before the result, you'll have to complete this 10 to 15 hour training along with some MCQs, etc., which will be available on the institute's website. There is no extra cost to it. This is going to be a part of your registration for the exam itself. Whenever you do the PSM, it does not matter, the practical skills module, it does not matter whether you take it before the exam or you take it after the exam or you take it, but you have to make sure that you take it before your result. Your result is not going to be given to you if you have not completed this by the date of your result. You can mail the institute, and it is going to be a bit of a hassle, and you can get a maximum 90-day extension within which you have to complete this program. If not, your exam result is going to be void. Which module to do is going to be a choice you'll have to make with regards to learning Excel and financial modeling. Is valuation, the equity valuation bit, or you want to learn Python. So depending on the kind of profile and role you're looking for, you can decide, but you can always attend both. And if you have been provided these resources and material, you should attend both if you have the time. And if not before the exam, you can attend after the exam. So those who are full-time students and have a sufficient amount of time apart from their curriculum and studies, they can take up this module before the exam. But those who are working professionals and have a challenge with respect to the time management and completing the curriculum before the exam, my suggestion is you take this practical skill module between the exam and result date. I do not advise you to get into the hassle of mailing the institute and extending the time frame beyond 90 days for this. Next is, if you can't decide, can you complete more than one? Yes, you can complete both the modules. If you change your mind, it doesn't matter, because any which ways you have to complete at least one module. Say for example, you completed the FinMod module and you've completed, let's say, 50% of the course, you can move to Python and complete that course, but that 50% is not going to be counted. For example, you cannot say I will complete 50% FinMod and 50% Python. You can't do that. 100% of one course has to be completed. That is what you need to make sure. If you miss the deadline, as I told you, you can mail the institute and get an extension of 90 days. But I do not recommend you to get into that hassle. So for those who are in a good position in terms of curriculum, complete it before the exam. Why delay it? Why procrastinate over it? For those who are in a hurry in terms of completing the curriculum, you can do it between the exam date and the result date. The same thing is going to be applicable for level 2 as well. Level 3 related practical skill module has not yet been released by the institute. We are still going to be waiting for it. It is not applicable for 2024 candidates. It is applicable for 2025 candidates only. But level 1 and level 2 is applicable for all 2024 exams starting from Feb and May for level 1 and level 2, because the first exam for level 2 is going to be in the month of May. So this is with regards to practical skill module. It's just an additional resource given by the institute, and it's been made mandatory for you to attend the video and do the practice questions. Nothing with respect to this is going to be turning up in the exam, so you don't have to worry. And your score on this online MCQ that you'll be doing for this course has got nothing to do with the exam. It will have absolutely no bearing in the exam or on your charter or in your result or anything. It is absolutely a practical training, just like your CA exams and all. We have those GMCS and IT training and all, which is mandatory to attend. You'll have to do it, but it is not going to be a part of the exam in any which way, so don't worry about it. But yes, it is mandatory and you'll have to cover this. The students are going to be very, very happy about this change focused curriculum. So what is happening is, in level 1, there are some topics like the time value of money, some basic statistics portion from the subject quants, microeconomics from economics, and some company accounts, that is basically from FRA, financial reporting analysis. Basically what the institute is doing is, these few readings from these three subjects is going to be transferred to something known as the pre-read material. So basically you need to know this material to understand the rest of the curriculum, to understand the rest of the subjects. But this curriculum, these chapters which are going to be shifted to the pre-read material, is not going to be tested. There will be no questions asked in the exam on these topics. However, the chapters are going to be made available to you so that you can go through it. For example, the engineers might need to go through FRA properly. The commerce students who have not studied statistics might need to go through cons. Those who did not have economics might need to go through it, because in order to understand the rest of the curriculum, you need to understand these. But if you have already covered these as a part of your graduation, you need not go through it in that depth again. It's becoming a little bit of a repetition, and also because there's so much of content that has been added over the years in the level 1 curriculum, they wanted to make it a bit leaner. So no questions is going to be asked from this pre-read material. So you have these chapters, you need to understand these chapters, but these chapters will not be tested in the exam. That's all that we are doing with pre-read material. The exact syllabus changes is going to be available by the month of May for the level 1 candidates. Until then, we'll have to wait and see. Level 2, level 3, there are a couple of chapters that have been kind of interchanged, maybe, shifted from level 2 to level 3 and level 3 to level 2, but more details are going to be available later. So right now, we will not be able to discuss much about it. Once the institute releases these details, a detailed discussion on the curriculum changes will be done. As of now, for those who have already started preparing for 2024, you need not worry. Continue with the same classes, the same chapters and all till the time the syllabus is out and the new details are out. Because even if these chapters have been shifted to the pre-read material, but you will need the knowledge for them. It's just that for a few chapters, you might do a little less practice. So that's all we can do right now, but more changes with regards to the curriculum, once they're out, we will discuss. So this was done. The content was removed from level 1 exam in order to make it a bit leaner, because a lot of additions have been done over the past few years, as I mentioned. The changes are not going to be making the curriculum harder anyways. I could say that some easy topics which have been removed over here are not testable anymore. But that does not make the exam harder, because anyways the exam is a mix of easy, medium, difficult questions, etc. Right? The practical skills module that are there, they aren't tested. We've already discussed this. Level 2 curriculum, there are minor changes over here, and which will be discussed and provided a bit later, because level 2 is anyways going to be taken in the May 2024 term. So first the level 1 syllabus is going to be released by the institute, and then level 2. Once the syllabus is released, we'll inform you. And level 3 curriculum, we are going to be discussing in the level 3 related changes separately. 2023, of course, there is no change absolutely. It's not applicable itself. 2024, there will be some changes which the institute will release. Once we have that, we'll be able to tell you. 2025, there is going to be a major change with level 3, which we will discuss in the next part. So this is also very simple. There is no change over here. Basically, an additional facility that the institute is providing us with respect to optional practice pack. So basically what happens is, right now in your learning ecosystem from the institute, for level 1 candidates I'm talking about over here, you already have access to 2000 practice questions, and you get 2 mock tests over here. Now the institute is going to be charging you $299, and in that you get additional 1000 practice questions, and you also get 6 mock papers extra. So right now there is absolutely nothing to think about or do about this one. What you need to do is you need to complete, your focus should be on completing your curriculum and the practice that is already there, which is quite sufficient. Of course, practice is very important, and institute has conducted research that doing the practice and mock, etc., is going to obviously going to increase your chances to pass. But right now, firstly, this is for 2024 curriculum. And secondly, right now, we not worry about it, because first you complete your syllabus with this much practice. Then, if we have time left and if we need that much practice, we can always look at purchasing this to get 1,000 questions. Now, the questions that have been set over here or that is provided by the institute, all these questions are exam level or exam standard questions. But again, we cannot practice infinite resources. We have to plan based on our study pattern, etc. So right now, 2,000 practice questions and 2 mock papers is sufficient. Let us complete this, let us complete the curriculum, and then we can take a call in terms of whether we need this additional practice or not. Obviously, buying this or not buying this is not going to impact your result from, as in, it's not that your questions in the exam is going to come out of these and therefore buying this will be helpful. Buying this will be helpful only to the extent of the extra practice that you're going to do. And the additional advantage that the institute is providing over here is, with respect to the exam platform, the exam software that you have, you will be able to practice the 6 mock tests on that exam software. But that is also not a big challenge, because we already have a demo of the exam software available. I've discussed in detail on how to use the exam software lecture in class, as to how to go about it and plan your exam and everything in terms of time management, etc. So all that is already done. And these questions also are available online. So you can take these exams. So I do not find this to be an exceptionally something, a very major, it's of course not a change in the curriculum. It's just an added practice pack that the institute is providing, which we can take a call later. And you need not purchase it immediately when you're taking the exam. You can always purchase this one after the exam registration is complete. So you can access them once, even later after registering for the exam. Anytime between the exam date and between your registration to the exam date, you can purchase this curriculum. Does the CFA registration include study material? As I told you, those 2,000 questions and MCQs, yes. Is it supplemental? Yes, you can pay $299 and get this. Is it exam level questions? Yes, I've already discussed. All the questions, it's not just these 1,000 extra questions, but the remaining 2,000 questions in your LMS, in your learning ecosystem, is also exam standard. So it's not that your current 2,000 questions that you have is below exam standard or irrelevant, and only the 1,000 extra questions and 6 mocks are exam standard. Even this is exam standard, the 2 mocks and 2,000 question. It is just that you've been given this extra option to purchase if you want. Is it exclusive to CF Institute? Of course, you'll have to purchase it. The cost is already provided, $299. You can purchase it at absolutely any time between your registration date and exam date. It is not necessary to purchase right now. And hence my recommendation is that once you complete your entire syllabus and the practice that is already provided to you, after that we will take a call on this. So this is basically, that's the practice replace your teacher. That's for you to decide in terms of your curriculum, your teaching, your studying, etc. And will it be available for all the levels? Right now they are releasing it only for level 1. I think the institute is going to take some time to be able to come up with level 2 and level 3 extra curriculum. That's all. This is a very interesting change that this institute has come up, the CFA Institute has come up with, but this is applicable only from the year 2025 onwards. So candidates for the year 2023 and 2024 do not need to worry or do not have to go through this at all. It's not relevant to you. So basically, let me just summarize what has happened is that when I look at my CFA level 3 curriculum currently, the way it is right now, I am dividing my curriculum into 2 parts. One is 70%, we are going to call it the core curriculum, and there is going to be a 30% curriculum which is on portfolio. So certain specific chapters with respect to portfolio has been pushed into an optional path. So basically what is happening is we have 3 specializations basically available. So a candidate, when he registers for the CFA level 3 exam, he is going to have to make a choice between 3 options, 3 specialized pathway. So the 2 new pathways are private wealth and private market. Private wealth and private market. A candidate, when he is registering for the exam, he will have to choose a specialization when you're registering. So when you enroll for the level 3 exams on the institute's website, you have to choose one of these 3 options. Depending on one of these 3 options, your exam paper is going to test you. So either you will get questions on the This 70% material or the syllabus is going to be the same for all the candidates. 30% of your questions of your syllabus is going to be either from portfolio or private wealth or private market. The current curriculum is basically represented by the 70% core and 30% portfolio. So your current syllabus represents this. You will choose one of the specializations. So either you choose this or this. You cannot take exam on all three. The exam will be either testing you on the core curriculum and portfolio. The core has got your derivatives, fixed income, equity, etc. Just the way your normal syllabus is right now. And 30% of very specific portfolio chapters have been shifted over here. So either you take your exam on these, or you take your exam on core private wealth, or you take your exam on the core curriculum and private market. 30% of curriculum is one of these three specializations that you choose. Now, how to choose a specialization, which one to choose, that is a major question which will not be answered right now. I'm sorry. Once the institute provides us with details with regards to the syllabus and curriculum and all, we will be able to discuss this and debate on this. Now, obviously, you'll have to make the choice when you're registering for the exam, but the institute provides you with the option of changing your pathway just before the exam. So in case you're confused and you're not sure, and if you want to change your pathway, you will be able to call or mail the institute. Some process will be provided to you through which you will be able to change or switch from one pathway to the other. Of course, you cannot take exam on all three because either your exam paper is this or this or this. 70% is same. So if somebody wants to study all the three curriculum, the institute is working on it, wherein you can take the exam on any of the pathways, and the other two pathways you can study by yourself by accessing the institute material. So most probably the material for the other two pathways is also going to be provided. They're planning to provide it to us charter holders, members, etc. also, so that we are also able to go through the curriculum and update ourselves and update our knowledge with regards to the industry. But for the exam, you can take only one of the pathways. Deciding the pathway will not be done right now. We will have to wait for the curriculum and all to be released, which will be done, I think, in early 2024. So right now we'll have to wait for some time. Of course, we'll have to choose a pathway that is more relevant to our long-term career plans, current job profiles, etc. So this is a change, which is not something that we need to get into too much details right now, because 2025 is a bit far off from today. Can I change the pathway? Yes, but in that case, you'll have to mail, call the institute, etc., and get it done. Can you take more than one pathway? No, you cannot, but you can always study that by yourself. May I add additional pathway? No, you cannot take exam more than one pathway. Your exam is going to be on the 70% core curriculum, which is a common one for all the three people, all the three specialization, and the remaining 30% syllabus and questions weightage is going to come from one of these three specializations that you have chosen. You cannot take exam on all three pathways or two pathways out of three. That is not possible. But you can study by yourself on that. The CFA charter will have absolutely no difference with regards to the choice you make or the specialization you choose. And there is no difference in terms of difficulty level or the scoring, etc. That is absolutely irrelevant. You have to decide between the three specializations based on your current job, your expected profile, or where you want to be. What role are you looking forward to in the future? Based on that, you have to decide. And any which way, 70% of the curriculum is going to be the same. So we will be discussing how to make a choice between these three a bit later once the institute releases the curriculum. Please, again, I'm repeating this, 2025. This change, the CFA level 3 pathways is applicable for candidates taking the exam in 2025. Of course, you'll register for it in, let's say, 2024, and you'll have to make a choice in 2024. Very, very early next year, we should be able to access, I think, or even before that, but I think by then the institute will release the syllabus for the different pathways, and then we'll take an informed decision as to which one to choose and how to go about it. So this is, of course, not a change with regards to the curriculum or anything. Basically, the institute is going to be providing digital badges for level 1 and level 2 candidates. The idea is very simple. The institute wants to highlight for the level 1 and level 2 candidates. For example, the charter takes a bit time, you clear your level 3 exams and then you submit your work experience and then you get your charter. So level 1 candidates will also get a digital badge, which can be used to demonstrate to your employer, to show that you are a level 1 qualified individual, and after level 2 that you're a level 2 qualified individual, which gives a kind of assurance that this level is complete, therefore this level of knowledge is available with the candidate. There's no change as such, because any which ways You write level 1 pass or level 2 pass in your resume. So there's not much of a change. It's just that, the way you're presenting it is a little, I would say, sophisticated. That's all I can think of with regards to the badge. But then again, of course, I mean, a level 1 qualified or level 2 qualified also gives an indication to the employer that, this much level of knowledge we have after passing the said exam. So we do not have to wait for the charter. I mean, we were anyways going to be putting it out there on the resume. Basically, it's more of a marketing activity for the CFA Institute to let the employers, etc., know that level 1 candidate knows this much, level 2 candidate knows already this much, and then level 3 candidate knows this much. So just add credibility to the candidate at level 1 and level 2 levels itself. That is what we are looking at. The badges, ideally, they should be available by 23 as per the institute deadline. And to previous candidates, they shall be working on it, but the current candidates will firstly get it. And the previously, let's say, level 1 pass or level 2 pass candidate, they're going to try and make it available. And they'll provide you with options in terms of, how to go about sharing it on the social media, etc. Nothing major, to be very honest, over here, because anyways, I was writing on the resume that I've passed level 1 and level 2. It's just a better way of presenting the same until you get your charter.